It's about to get real. Now, I don't know what preparedness means to some of you, but baby, you better go ahead and get prepared. And if you waiting for the news to tell you, oh, well, you need to run out, you need to get this, it's too late.
Hi, I don't know what you've been doing. If you've been collecting supplies, water, extra container of Band-Aids, Neosporin, or you have upped it to maybe even getting a backup power generator. But if I were you, I would get into high gear. Things are not good right now. They're going to get worse. And you need to have something to fall back on. If you listen to no other videos that I've made, listen to this one.
I don't know if everybody is paying attention, but times are getting really hard. I've had a lot of friends that had good jobs for years being laid off. I've had people hit me up and asking to use me as recommendations and referrals and seeing if I could put them on things. And I'm just paying attention to the climate out here, and it's getting pretty rocky. I've also had numerous friends tell me how hard it is to get a job right now. It's a lot of interviews. People are going through the interview process and going to 2, 3, 4 rounds of interviewing and still not getting called back. I know people that's putting in 30, 40 applications a day, and they've been doing that for over 30 days. Still not getting anything substantial called back. So I'm like, I don't know if everybody's aware of how bad things are and how bad things are going to get. We're also like on the verge of going to war. There's countries in war right now. And I think because of so much distractions in the media and in like social media and entertainment and people keeping up with all this bullshit online, people are really numb to what's going on outside. But I say all that to say, a storm is coming, and some people have already felt it, but it's nothing like what it's going to feel like when it really hits. All y'all that's buying jewelry, getting new cars, just adding to y'all motherfucking expenses and y'all workload and y'all overhead. I really hope you've taken in consideration that what you're making now might not be what you'll be making in a few months to a year. So you might need to recalculate some of these things before you keep taking on new burdens. Yeah, good luck.
So I'm not going to lie. Last night, I felt completely defeated. Just because they're so open about what's happening, and it's happening at such a fast rate. I've been trying to warn you for a long time now. You don't want to listen. I'm telling you right now, you better prepare your family and your circle for what's coming. Don't comply. They're going to be coming to everyone's doorstep. You're not going to be able to hide from this. You're not going to be able to move from this. It's going to hit every single corner of this earth. I hope you're all having a good day. Please take care of yourselves.
Shalom. I would like to give all honor, glory, and praises to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. I would like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere Akim, push this word across the four corners of the world. So as you just saw from these different videos at the beginning, a lot of these prideful Americans are very pressed in the spirit of this pending American economic collapse, because we are definitely within that transition of the countdown to the collapse of the petrodollar. So as you just saw, a lot of these Americans are going on social media and sharing their sentiments, how times are financially hard within America, and they're now more driven to be in that spirit of preparedness due to this government shutdown. And that's causing a lot of Americans to be unemployed and just more job insecurity or instability. Trump posing these tariffs upon these other countries, and it's like a boomerang effect upon the average everyday American, and where they are suffering through the rising cost of food, energy, rent, cost of living, just your basic necessities within this thing that we call life. So with that being said, these different Americans, as you just saw from this opening video, and there's many more out there like this, their solution is to cornerly prep, like from food, water, or your basic essential supplies. And none of them are recommending the best solution is by calling upon a higher power via divine intervention, and that's YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Because those different sentiments that they are sharing upon social media about something big or major is about to happen within America, which is true, and that's alluding to this satanic one world government, or this Agenda 2030, the fourth industrial revolution, where it's going to be a one world central bank, the end of national sovereignty, the end of private owned properties, the end of private transportation or private forums, a one world cashless digital currency with a social credit system. And that's all by the means of microchipping tracking for everyone. And that fulfills the MOTB biblical prophecy within Revelation, the 13th chapter, and the 16th to the 17th verse, how he calls it all. So therefore, these elites are very serious when they say you will own nothing and be happy. And this digital transitional shift is going to cause a lot of shambles within America, and more so commotion and outrage globally, which fulfills this end time biblical prophecy right here. And that takes me right to Luke 21 verse 25 within the NLT, and that's a New Living Translation. And this is our Lord and Savior Yahawashi prophesying on what will be occurring within the last seconds of the last days. And it says, and there will be strange signs in the sun, moon, and stars, hence your lunar eclipses, with the supermoons, the blood moons, etc. And all of those are spiritual indicators or omens to mind us, the ones who are measuring the times diligently within itself, that we are within the last moments of Esau's global governance, his rulership. And it says, and here on earth, the nations will be in turmoil, which goes into that state of extreme agitation, commotion, or confusion. And what is America biblically codified as, according to Isaiah 24:10, the city of confusion. So therefore, the city of confusion is being broken down. It's an organized collapse, and more so a controlled demolition unto this American economy. So again, it says, and here on earth, the nations will be in turmoil, perplexed, which goes into confused, or being uncertain by the roaring seas and strange tides. Verse 26, people will be terrified at what they see coming upon the earth, for the powers in the heavens will be shaken. And a very small but detailed example of that are those video clips I posted at the beginning of this video. Like, look at the countenance of those different Americans' faces. They look very concerned. They are stressed out, have a lot of anxiety, and more so just totally confused because they cannot spiritually pinpoint on what's about to get ready to take place within this earthly realm. So of course, by them being carnal, therefore they have a carnal solution. And that's by doomsday prepping, whether it's food, water, clothing, weapons, different basic essential items, and the list goes on. And I'm not saying it's something wrong if you do have the extra monetary funds to purchase some of those things, especially like canned goods, water, or even other items. But our faith as the hopeful elect, it's not rooted in that, because we know overall all of this is going to take some serious divine intervention. And that's by, again, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. But these people that you're seeing on these videos, they're putting their total faith, energy, time, like that emotional and spiritual investment into these carnal items that can be easily taken away. And as our forefather King David was in the spirit within the book of Psalm 124:8, he was talking about those proud waters, which goes into those armies or legions of Esau's military. And we know through the spirit they're about to soon come against us. But what did King David say within Psalm 124:8? How our help is in the name of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, who made heaven and earth. including these mere earthlies that's going to be associated with Esau's military, his troops, when he brings forth that great wrath. So at the end of the day, the king's heart is in the hand of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. So therefore, that's our main solution. And where YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI controls every scenario of every council within this earthly realm, whether they be on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. So therefore, our solution is instilled in the names of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. So the point is, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI are heavily tormenting these Americans, whether it be financially, emotionally, or mentally, which fulfills the end-time biblical prophecy within Isaiah, the 19th chapter, how the Egyptians, which is referring to these modern Americans, will lose heart or morale, and how YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI are confusing their plans. Like, no one's talking about obtaining the so-called American dream nowadays. That's all over and done with because it was all founded upon lies. So let's get right quick. 2nd Esdras, the 8th chapter and the 50th verse within the GNT, and that's the Good News translation. It says right here, the people of this world who have lived their lives in pride and arrogance will suffer many things in the last days. And that goes into the great mental, emotional sufferings or miseries YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI plaguing these Americans and really people all around the world with. Because again, these people are not comforted within the spirit, the power, and the knowledge of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. So therefore, they mobilize off of carnal means, carnality, which is ultimately enmity with YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Like they do not have that spiritual cheat code as we do as the hopeful elect. So therefore, with that being said, these powerful people are being plagued in the minds, in their spirits, and they have no other options. And if they do, it's all rooted in carnal means. So again, the people of this world who have lived their lives in pride and arrogance will suffer many things in the last days. And that's definitely targeting that lofty city. When you read the book of Isaiah, the 26th chapter and the 5th verse, how YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI will bring down them that dwell on high, that lofty city, how he laid low. And that's referring to this prideful, wealthy nation, America, aka Babylon the Great. Let's get right quick. Jeremiah 49 verse 31. Arise, get you up unto the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care, said the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. And this is biblically prophesying about America, again, Babylon the Great, and how these self-satisfied Americans are very powerful, self-entitled, very complacent in their everyday lives, of the comforts that the fashion of this world offers them, from sports or entertainment in general, food delivery apps, shopping online, like you name it, everything is within their convenience. So therefore, they take much pride in that. And these powerful Americans do not consider like what be occurring within these so-called third world countries, from the poverty, the bloodshed, the political divide, which incites a lot of mass chaos, riots, warfare, women and children getting ravished, all types of distresses, calamities, and afflictions. So again, these powerful Americans never taking into consideration how those same draconian measures can and will come to the doorsteps of you everyday Americans, which signifies the times that we are in right now. Hence, Trump's federal troops are ICE agents. In the way that they are moving, what are they bringing upon the everyday Americans? Civil war. So again, arise, get you up unto the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care, said the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. So by these careless Americans being so indulged into their complacency, they are literally not going to know what's going to hit them very soon. And the very fact of fear is by the unknowing. And that sentiment alone is going to induce a lot of heart attacks. People are going to be stroking out, being sent back to the spiritual realm on mass levels. You can feel that spiritual climate within the air, which are driving these Americans to go on social media, and they are sharing the same sentiments. And it says right here, which have neither gates nor bars, which dwell alone. In this social media era, how everybody tell their business to really an unknown audience and just be spilling the beans about every detail within their lives, especially like doomsday preppy. Like, why would you go on social media in front of millions of strangers and share to them that you and your families are storing away food, water, basic essential items, weapons, things of that sort? However, this shows you through the spirit that YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI are ultimate chess players, and how they are moving the pieces within this thing that we call life according to their plans and agendas. Especially how these people all around the world, in particular America, are all talking about doomsday prepping, but not knowing that food, shelter, water, or even weapons is going to be reserved unto the elect of the nation of Israel when these great miseries be really implemented within America. And that takes me right to Isaiah 65 verse 13 within the NLT. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI says: my servants will eat. And who are the servants? The prophets, trickling on down to the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, who are considered as the Israel of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, the ones who are walking according to that righteous standard within these last seconds of the last days. So therefore, with that being said, my servants will eat, because very soon we are coming within those times of an engineered global famine. And whereas we're going to see the left hand of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI upon his vessel of dishonor, the rod of his anger, which is Esau Edom, and how the staff in their hand is ultimately YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI's indignation. And a major part of that is by the so-called powers that be on the left-hand side orchestrating a great shortage of food. It's going to be a great dearth, food scarcity. So again, therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI says: my servants will eat, but you will starve, which is including the 2/3 of our people that want to be one with the image of the beast, just want to be conjoined with the current fashion of this world, and not seeking for a better way or a better promise that Yahawashi has offered us. So they want to remain in Egypt, and therefore they're going to die within Egypt. And that's referring to America. And of course, these other nations by default, they have no part in this. So they will be casualties of this great famine as well. So my servants will eat, but you will starve. My servants will drink, but you will be thirsty. My servants will rejoice, but you will be sad and ashamed. Verse 14, my servants will sing for joy, but you will cry in sorrow and despair. So that's the point of the lesson. You know, just how YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI are setting up their ultimate okie doke upon these heathen nations, and also the 2/3 of our people, to put that spirit of urgency upon them and start doomsday prepping. And a lot of these people have been prepping for decades. So just imagine how much storage these people have. And that's all going to be reserved unto the elect of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, which are Israelites. So this American society is definitely circling the drain, to the point it's driving a lot of stress and worry Americans to go on social media and just upload videos and sharing their sentiments, how something big and major is coming to the shores of America, which is going to be great devastation and miseries, as the scriptures prophesied it will be happening within the last seconds of Esau's rule. So with that, hopefully you all was edified, you all stay strong, keep pushing forward. Shalom.